Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Joanna Ho. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Strong winds batter Hong Kong as severe tropical storm Maon approaches. There's a warning on contact tracing capability as COVID cases soar past 7,000. And the collapse of a giant screen during a mirror concert is blamed on a low-quality cable. The observatory has just raised the second number 8 typhoon signal of the year. But the weather remains relatively calm. With advance warnings, most commuters were able to go home in dry conditions. Severe tropical storm Maon is expected to skirt past the south of Hong Kong instead of a direct hit as forecast earlier. The observatory warned of flooding in low-lying areas as the combined effects of a storm surge and astronomical high tide will cause water levels to rise by 1 meter in Quarry Bay early tomorrow morning. At nearby seaside estate Heng Fa Chun, precautionary measures were made to prevent seawater overflowing onto the promenade. Our reporter Macy Mok is out in Tsim Sha Tsui to tell us the latest. Macy, what do you have for us?
Hello, Joanna. I am currently in Tsim Sha Tsui Promenade next to the Star Ferry Pier to feel the impact of the severe tropical storm Maon. Now, right now, I can feel the breeze, but the intensity is not too strong to a point where it will sweep me away, but it's definitely stronger than usual. And as you can see right now, it is not raining at the moment, and there are still people jogging around Tsim Sha Tsui taking pictures of the sea view. Now, speaking of sea view, we can see that the Symphony of Lights is not playing in Tsim Sha Tsui tonight because of the tropical cyclone. And let's take a look at the Star Ferry Pier over here. The gate is closed right now, and that's because the last ferry from Tsim Sha Tsui to Central has departed at 8 p.m. Back to you, Joanna.
New COVID infections in Hong Kong have exceeded 7,000 for the first time since cases rebounded 2 months ago. Health authorities warned that because of the rising caseload, they may not be able to conduct contact tracing for every infected patient. COVID cases have risen sharply from yesterday. Today's total of 7,884 includes 207 imported infections. Communicable Disease Branch Head Trong Shuk Kwan warned that it's possible for cases to shoot past 10,000 again. She said social distancing measures could be tightened again if the public healthcare system becomes overloaded. She urged people to stay alert and reduce social gatherings. The authorities admitted that they might not be able to do contact tracing for every infected patient because of the high caseload. Trong said tracing efforts will be focused on medical facilities, care homes, and schools. She urged people to be tested as soon as possible if they know they had been in contact with an infected person. The hospital authority meanwhile detected a cluster involving 6 doctors from 3 public hospitals. All 6 contracted the virus after attending a wedding banquet last Saturday. But hospital services have not been affected and no close contact has been identified so far. A low-quality cable has been blamed for last month's collapse of a giant screen, seriously injuring a dancer during a concert by the popular boy band Mirror. The weight which the snapped cable could bear was 20% less than ordinary ones, according to an expert panel investigating the accident at the Hong Kong Coliseum in Hong Kong. The panel added that the cable was damaged because it was pressed by a rope guard, which was set too close. The LED screen was also much heavier than the organizers' estimation, the experts said. But they insisted it is still too early to tell who should bear responsibility.
I think this was good timing to conclude the case. It was still under investigation. And also, police and labor department are conducting investigation on their own parties. So I don't think we should give any comment on who should be responsible for the incident.
Activist Jimmy Sham has again lost a legal bid to win recognition for overseas same-sex marriages. The Court of Appeal delivered its ruling today after Sham made a second attempt when his judicial challenge was dismissed 2 years ago. The Court of Appeal ruled today that a High Court judge was correct in dismissing Jimmy Sham's judicial review in 2020. The LGBT activist, who married his male partner in the United States in 2013, launched his initial judicial challenge in 2018. His lawyer had argued that the constitutional right to equality is violated if same-sex couples are treated differently from heterosexual couples. In handing down the judgment, the appeal court said the freedom of marriage for Hong Kong residents and their right to raise a family freely is protected under Article 37 of the Basic Law. But that only applies to heterosexual marriages as stipulated in the Bill of Rights Ordinance. It says Hong Kong prefers heterosexual marriages and only recognizes such marriages officiated locally or overseas. It adds that it wasn't the intention of the law drafters to recognize same-sex couples who marry overseas, saying this would be unfair to other homosexual people who are barred from same-sex marriages in Hong Kong. The court also dismissed the argument that not recognizing overseas same-sex marriage is discriminatory and deprives people of their rights and benefits. Sham was ordered to pay the legal costs. He was not in court as he is being detained in a security law case relating to a primary election organized by Pan Democrats in 2020. Hong Kong Post has been hard hit in a pocket by competition and electronic messaging. To make up for the loss, the Postal Service will be raising charges for local and overseas mail, Samesex reports.
The last time Hong Kong Post raised charges was 4 years ago. But from September the 26th, posting a local letter weighing 30 grams or less will cost $2.20, an increase of 20 cents. Postal charges vary for heavier letters and packets sent locally or by airmail. The increase for 80% of local mail is around 30 cents, while it will cost about 50 cents more to post airmail letters. Sending a greeting card weighing 20 grams or less to Britain will cost $5.40, a 50-cent rise from September the 26th. Hong Kong Post says it needs to raise postage rates to offset escalating operating costs. And it has taken inflation into account since the last increase in August 2018. It added that a rise in electronic messaging has led to a sharp decline in the number of traditional letters posted. And competition from commercial delivery services is severe. The last time Hong Kong Post was profitable was in the 2016-17 financial year, when it earned $153 million. Since then, it recorded an operating loss 4 years in a row. The 2019-20 financial year was the worst, when it plunged $363 million into the red, before narrowing the loss to $198 million in the following year. Looking ahead, Hong Kong Post plans to generate revenue through business development and manage its costs, while providing affordable and quality postal services. Samesex, HKIBC.
Overseas, Thailand's constitutional court has suspended Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha from his official duties from today, while it reviews whether his 8-year term limit has expired. Reporters in Bangkok scrambled to get copies of the court's decision, which was passed by a slender 5-4 majority. The opposition argues that Prayut must quit as he had seized power in a coup in 2014. But his supporters say the 8-year term should begin in 2019, when the former general became a civilian prime minister. Deputy Prime Minister Prawit Wongsuwan is expected to take over from Prayuth. Hong Kong's stock benchmark lost 1.2% to close at a 5-month low, mainly on U.S. interest rate jitters. Shares of e-commerce giant JD.com jumped 4% after its second quarter net profit beat expectations and came in at 4.4 billion yuan, but they ended the day virtually flat. Video sharing app Kuaishou lost over 8%, while software producer Kingsoft dropped nearly 10%. Logan Group plunged a whopping 51% after the developer said it may not be able to repay its loans. Insurer Ping An gained 2.6% after raising its dividend. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index closed down 234 points. To the top 10 active stocks, Tencent was down $2.80, Meituan down $4.60. Tracker Fund down 24 cents, JD.com up 40 cents. To the forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar, euros at 7.79, British pound at 9.24, and Australian dollar at 5.41. Over to the UK market, FTSE 100 is down 21 points. One of Hong Kong's oldest forms of public transport will be back in service on Saturday after a 1-year suspension for an upgrade. The Peak Tram will return with more seats, but it will also cost more for a ride. Isaac Lee reports.
After 14 months of repair work, the Peak Tram is finally back with a new look. Instead of red, it's now green, the color of older generations. Passengers will notice that the waiting time is shorter, as capacity has been raised to 210, up from 120 previously, but the wooden benches remain. It will cost more for a ride, with a one-way ticket priced at $62. An increase of almost 70%. The operator said COVID delayed the progress of the renovation and added to the expenses. However, it expects the upgraded terminal at Central's Garden Road to be a hit.
I'm sure, when Hong Kong people come in and actually witness the works that we have done, the 5 different entertainment shows that we have created for them, they will feel that it's value for money.
Passengers can also take a journey to the past. All they need to do is to hop onto this replica of the first generation tram, which in the late 19th century served the city's wealthy residents living on the Peak. Photos are allowed inside the wooden carriage, which can remind people how far the tram has progressed since its early days. Isaac Lee, HKIBC.
On to the weather now. Tomorrow will be wet with heavy showers and thunderstorms. Expect rough seas while the temperature will be between 26 and 29 degrees. The number 8 signal remains in force. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Wednesday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Joanna Ho. Thanks for watching. Good evening.